Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of Bad Television. That is long for Bad TV. And I'm Dylan, and that's Pat.
Great to be here. Permission to come aboard.
Whoa.
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 What an episode, man.
2 episodes back to back.
Back to back.
They're taking me on an emotional roller coaster.
Do I have a little curly cue right here?
Yeah, you look. It's called the Hero Curl. That was made famous by Clark Kent playing Superman.
Okay, well, I'm going to change that. Does it look good?
I think it looks great. It's going to read well on camera.
You think? Really?
Ooh, plug. Check us out on another Below Deck podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. Go look at that. And listen, man, 2 great episodes. The season continues to be the best season of Below Deck we've had in some time, I'd say.
Major spoilers out there on the internet of the recasting of this particular version.
Well, if you want those, then seek them out.
Shouldn't do, even though it's out there on social media. I'm going to say this. You're not going to be happy who the new chief stew is. Let me just say that.
Okay. You have a
you didn't even guess who you think it might be.
Okay, but you have a chronic problem where you don't. It's really amazing.
I like to have a secret.
Can I get it out, please? Can you shut up for 1 second?
Yes.
You do this thing. It is so Shutter Island. You just have no idea what's going on. You'll say, I'm not going to spoil anything, but... And then I'm confused whether you know what you're doing or not. Do you realize what a massive spoiler you just dropped?
It's not a spoiler. It's out there on the internet. It's on all social media. Bravo, Dish, all those Instagram sites are posting the pictures.
Okay, but when you say you're not going to like who the new chief stew is,
yeah.
Do you recognize what a spoiler that is?
Well, I think you'd have to take a guess. I'm not a fan of several of them.
Okay, so you don't. Saying you're not going to like who the new chief stew is implies that the chief stew is going to get fired.
Oh. No, Dylan, Chief Stews in and out of this franchise come and go all the time. I'll tell you what, we have had to see Kermit on like 5.
Are you talking about Below Deck Down Under or the new season?
Down Under.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you thought I was talking about Fraser.
No. You're talking about Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wasn't talking about this season. I'm talking about the one that they're filming now. They did a cast photo all together because there's a crossover with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. So next season Below Deck Down. Okay, I thought you were talking about this season. Okay, who's the chief stew next season?
Daisy.
No.
I can't believe they did that to us. Unless they're fucking with us. But there was a picture of her and Captain Jason and Chef Ben and a couple other Real Housewives of Salt Lake. And it says, currently doing a crossover filming right now.
Not a fan of that.
Let's hope it's they're just messing with me.
All right. Get in the comments. Get in the reviews. 5 stars, kind words. The weather is warming up. I got my first mosquito bite.
Oh, boy. I hate those. I don't mind killing them. Oh, you want to hear a fun fact, Dill?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell the story behind the fun fact. The other day, I'm in the swimming pool with Ellie. Yeah. There's this bee that keeps flying around us, getting dangerously close to my 5-year-old.
Right.
So I splash a little water in the direction of the bee, thinking I'm just going to scare it away. Well, lo and behold, it hit one of its wings. The guy goes spiraling down into the pool water.
Yeah.
I feel guilty as hell.
I can still save him.
I try to. So I grab a piece of bark chip or bark, whatever, mulch, whatever.
Yeah.
And I try and... lift him up. Yeah. Poor little guy was struggling for life. I laid him next to the pool, checked on him 15 minutes later, dead as can be.
Okay, great.
So I feel bad. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I killed a bee. Now I'm feeling guilty. I murdered something.
Yeah.
So I have to go on the internet and ask my iPhone, hey, how long does a bee live? They said 3 weeks. I was thinking in my head to make myself feel better. He had already lived 2.5 weeks. So he was near death anyway.
Yeah.
And then my next search was, what's the shortest lifespan for an insect? Dill, you are not going to get this. The mayfly lives 3 hours. Just enough time to plant more mayflies.
Yeah.
That's it.
What's the point?
How much living can you do?
Yeah. You know, that bee was probably going through some kind of existential panic, and he wanted to die.
Maybe.
You actually were doing a disservice prolonging his miserable life. I mean, his wife hates him. Okay?
Yeah.
Cannot stand him. The racket he was running on the federal government, he was like getting these checks and he wasn't really hurt. And he was just like, it's all falling apart. I got to end it.
Well, imagine if he'd lived and he shows back home with one wing. Yeah. She's like, how are you going to, earn for the family? You can't get any honey.
Yeah,
they're going to laugh at you when you show up at the honey factory.
Yeah, she was like, you couldn't provide for us when you had 2 wings, David. Okay, let's get into the show. But before we get into the show, let's read a quick review. This is 5 stars. This is from someone we haven't heard of or heard from in some time. Okay, this is, there are a lot of fans that are real staples of the community. And some time ago, we had a fan named Linda Yoga Girl.
I remember her.
Now, she hated me and I hated her. She's a nut job. But we really appreciate the review. 5 stars, kind words. Patty. Heeding the call for warm words and appreciation, still delivering great pod after all these years. Thank you so much. Linda, thank you so much for the 5 stars. All right, let's get into the show. Man.
Wait, housekeeping. Okay, housekeeping. We are, for our Patreon listeners, I guess next Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're going to do a, what do you call it, a meetup or something?
Happy hour.
Happy hour. For about an hour, we'll sit there on like basically a version of a Zoom meeting. Right? Yep. And then we talk face to face and we laugh and chuckle. Yep. We tell all the good dark stories that we can't say on air that will get Patty and Dilly in trouble.
Sure. Yeah. We spill the tea and grab a drink. Join us unless you've I don't know, ran over somebody or punch somebody at a work function.
You have a troubled relationship with alcohol.
If you have a troubled relationship with alcohol, just grab a Fresca.
There you go.
Yep.
And also, our coverage of the Valley starts this week. We already recorded the episode before the episode airs. It's a decent episode. I think it's going to be a really good season. So you can find that at Bad TV, the feed that you're listening into right now. And if you're not familiar with the show, give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's a great show. Jax Taylor is fucked. He's kind of like that bee. Yeah.
Well, he's still breathing, though.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Episode whatever. This curl is bothering me. Give your pots.
Okay. First off, love the episode. As I was watching this episode play out, I'm like, the bad guy.
Can I tell you something really quickly? I finally found a good combination of product.
For your hair.
Oh, my God. It
looks good.
It's a leave-in, right? It's a coconutty leave-in.
Oh, you leave it in.
What are you doing on your phone?
I'm pulling up a sound effect for later.
Is it the tortoise having sex?
No. That's played out.
Ugh. But it's a leave-in and a or do they call it a pomade? Is that what you?
Pomade, like a wax or something.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's a leave-in with a pomade. It's really doing wonders. Now I've got to figure out how to groom this beer. I don't know how to groom. I don't know how to groom. You know what I mean?
This is relevant how?
No, it's not.
Oh.
So let's get into the show. Do you really think the sounds of the tortoise orgasming is played out?
Oh, I used it in a comedy sketch like 12 years ago.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's a very niche thing to be worn out.
Yeah, I forget what the bit was, but I definitely used it. It's been on the internet for a while.
Okay, thoughts, pots, go.
Okay. First 10 minutes of this episode, as I'm watching it go down, I'm like, the bad guy won today. I couldn't believe it. It broke my heart. Then 10 seconds later, Vihan gets axed, and I was like, okay, the world isn't such a horrible place.
Yeah.
After Vihan, I want to lay out some theories too. But also, Nick, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I believe Captain Jason, there was one warning while he was going to watch beer pong, which was don't drink. Mm-hmm. I think he may possibly have the shortest stint as a crew member of any vessel in below deck history.
Well, when you're around PR professionals, you have to have your walls up. Okay, these people, they'll
lie to you.
Usually women. They'll just get you to do stuff. They're kind of pushy. We've dealt with so many PR people.
You can't ask that question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Look. You know who my favorite PR people are?
Who?
The PR people over at Bravo who work on below deck. But outside of that, just really tough characters. If you're a freaking Spock nerd and you don't have the cojones to stand up to these Dubai PR chicks, you're going to get fucking wasted, regardless of what the rules are.
Oof. Well, that was fun to see.
Yeah.
We should take a bet. Does he survive the next episode?
I think so.
Okay. We'll see. I'm gonna say he gets fired.
What are you gonna do with these kids? I mean, it's like he took a shot. Don't do that anymore.
I know, but it's his first day. He hasn't been on the job for more than 4 hours.
I know, but you know what the J-Man said. It's hard to find people in the Seychelles.
Theory.
Yeah.
So it's not common for someone to fire a captain to fire a bosun. That's kind of a big deal because you have charter guests showing up the next day.
We've seen it before.
I'm not saying that we haven't. I'm just saying the way that he went about it, it seemed like we'll see Captain Sandy labor over I'd love to fire this person, but I don't have a replacement.
Yeah.
Captain Jason seemed pretty okay with it and pretty ready to move on, which made me think, behind the fourth wall, he knew there was a bosun waiting at a hotel on shore.
I think what you got to do is you got to pull the Band-Aid off, because if you don't, you'll shower with it, it'll get wet, the scab will fester, and you'll pick at it. And the longer you get down the line, you're like, well, I guess, he's kind of getting better. Let's just stick it out with him the rest. No, get him out of here.
I'm just saying, all right, so we've seen bosuns fired. We saw one, I think it was our first season of recapping Below Deck with Captain Lee. I think his name was Chandler. He lasted about 3 episodes. He was incompetent. He could have gotten people killed. Felt bad for that guy, too.
Well, and then there was also that guy who I think was a gun runner or something.
Oh, the guy who fake identity. Actually, you know what? He got fired in the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So technically his journey didn't even leave the dock, that guy.
No.
All right. Anyway, I'm going on too long here. I loved this episode. Oh God, I hope it's not true how they change up the cast, but I'm going to give it 99 knots.
Yeah, that's very high. This combo of episodes, part 1 and part 2, it was really great television, but I am heartbroken to lose Johnny. I really am. I think it's really fucking lame. Okay. Are we doing maritime law, or are we not doing maritime law? It's like this weird thing where you can emotionally abuse people and sexually assault people and do all this weird stuff, and you don't get fired. But you
punch a closet.
You punch a closet and you scream to the heavens, and all of a sudden it's like you got to go. Listen, I understand it. He probably should have been fired, but I'm not happy about it. I loved Johnny. I think Johnny could have slid right into Wee-En's position, little Wee Man's position, and we would have had a great season,
I think when you were watching the evidence get laid out, that was one of the most interesting parts of this, because we had the footage, and I think Jason got to see that footage, which is why he fired Wee-En. Definitely had play in there.
Yeah.
Is that when you see... all right, so Alicia does not mention when she's recounting what took place of her saying Johnny 3 times. I've watched this episode, that part 3 times, just to make sure. Wee-En totally hears her say that, welcomes her up in the bed.
Yeah.
And
then later on in this episode, he goes, she wanted to talk. What's the problem? Is that how you talk? You smash your pud into the back of somebody? Fuck?
Did you see her redo... Barnacles, let me know if Patty got this wrong. Was she re-snapping her bra back on?
I said this last episode. I think she was just adjusting her mic. I think she was thinking about taking her mic off before she got into bed. I don't think that she was doing anything sexy.
He definitely, you watch his hand, and also if you watch it closely, just as she...
You really did Zapruder this thing, huh?
I have to talk on it. I have to be informed. As soon as she notices... or senses it's not Johnny, she perks her head up just as Johnny walks through the door.
Yeah.
She was going to react. Had Johnny not walked in that room, give it 3 more seconds, she would have turned around and said, well, you're not Johnny. It's interesting the way the world works.
Oh, yeah. The world is really interesting.
And now Johnny's off the boat, and I don't think this is a spoiler. They show a teaser trailer for the future episodes. Any port in a storm, as they say.
Well, not any. I mean, let's give Alicia a little bit of credit. But, we had a lot of fans, especially on Patreon, going, she knew what she was doing, and I don't think so.
No, she did not.
I don't think so.
No, she was into Johnny for that period of time.
Yeah. All right. 8 pots.
8 pots.
Okay, so let's get into it. We pick up with the punches and the screams of the Greek Freak. They're so loud that the J-Man comes down. An interesting little note. You know, we've heard some things about the J-Man. Okay? The J-Man, you know, he's the J-Man. He's there to captain the vessel and not smash it into, marinas.
He didn't want a second one to sink in the dock.
Right. But one of the first things he does when he goes in there, takes the clothing off the camera. A little foot soldier for production. You know what?
Captain Jason, do you mind pulling the underwear off the camera?
Yeah, like we need you to go in there and before you do anything, we need to get this. So, okay.
Well done.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Elisa is just fucking blitzed, okay? She's slamming potato chips, just like, what is going on? And Alicia and Wien, as Johnny's getting dragged out, have a little phone call.
All right. This is Vihan doing damage control and also mind control, essentially putting
we should
things
call
in her
him
head.
something else. We have one last episode with this guy. Can we come up with some kind of derogatory name?
Oh, God, I thought about that and then I got bored.
Yeah. A boredom is a bitch.
Let me say this about Vihan. You are a gross pig. You have no morals. You have no loyalty.
Yeah.
That was your friend right there, too.
Yeah.
You're a liar, and I don't even think you're a good bosun. You suck. I'm happy to see you go.
Yeah. Let's just call him Pig.
Pig.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. What does he say in that phone call? He just says like, it's crazy. He was acting crazy in there. He just acted crazy.
He acted crazy. You know who's crazy? You're crazy. I mean, clinically, like you're crazy, okay? You go around and you say hi to people by grabbing their tits and grabbing their ass and necking them. Then you pretend like you're confused as to what the problem is. You have no loyalty to anybody, okay? Johnny was the second in command. They were as thick as thieves. Didn't matter to him. Alicia hops in that bunk bed. No code, brotherly code, no whatever. You're crazy.
You're
okay,
crazy, sir.
not Johnny. Johnny is a little drunk, and things are firing up right now. And he sees his girl in bed with you, his friend, and he punches something. It's a very childish thing to do, but it's not as crazy as you are. Okay, nutbag pig.
Fucking
pig.
John, I feel so bad for Johnny because even him punching the closet was definitely a way of restraining himself because I assume a former Johnny
rained down elbows.
That's right.
Rained down elbows. We should call him Weasel instead of Wien. Fucking Weasel.
I know they don't do reunions anymore, but definitely if they had Johnny on, I'd say, having seen the footage of what really took place, would you have reacted differently?
I mean, raining down elbows. So Jason does his rounds, checking on the children, and we get up bright and early to sift through the ash of the night before. Now, Johnny goes to a hotel room, and Alicia is wondering if he's going to get fired. The people across the pond call it sacked. Mm-hmm. Is he going to get the sack?
Can I just say this? As far as a captain, I don't know if they certainly didn't do this with Captain Lee. Send them to HR Academy as well as a investigator because it seems like quite the spectrum of roles. A person that you think is just there to drive the goddamn boat. Now they got to go talk to 4 different people to see who may have sexually assaulted someone. I'm just saying, it seems like a lot of roles for one guy.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, what with how messy this thing is, why do we have to be so fucking lame about it? Like, okay, he punched a cabinet. He's great. Just keep him on TV. I mean, Gary King's been left on TV, and he's freaking, we know what Gary King's done. Yeah. Anyway, so he punched a wall and screamed like a banshee, a Greek one. So he is going to get fired. Big Red's like, yeah, I think he is. And Alicia is called up to the bridge. Captain J-Man, HR rep J-Man says, did I wake you? She says, no. He did. She is like, she's still in deep REM. She looks like a B-boy. And she does not look awake. I think she's still pretty fucking hungover from the night before.
I agree with that. I know I already mentioned this, but it bears repeating. When you watch this, and I like to look at it as a juror, I'm Lady Justice, like just look at the evidence. There is a plausible deniability for Vihan had she not said Johnny 3 times. But the fact that we get to see that is the evidence, the
smoking gun.
The smoking gun. And she forgets that she did say that. She doesn't even mention that.
And in the case of the Zapruder film, there were actually multiple smoking guns.
Were there?
Oh, yeah. Do we have to do that?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, there's so many. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Alicia is dismissed, and then we get to Harry's tears. Now, the J-Man is very protective of Harry. And when he finds out that Weasel, Pigface, made Harry cry, that's kind of it for J-Man, okay?
He made Harry cry.
He goes around the boat and does his reconnaissance. And
it's quite a montage of investigations.
Yeah. Zarina and Harry really nail the coffin shut on the Weemeister.
So you think...
Weasel.
This is what I'll say. Zarina was infatuated with the V-Man. However...
a lot of fans have been, Serena is like,
she's having fun. Her loyalty lies with Harry, and she threw him right under the fucking bus. I'm referring to Vihan, and drove that bus over and over and ran his head over and finished him off.
Yeah. I mean, she drove the bus off a cliff, kind of Thelma and Louise style, but she rolled out right in time, Tom Cruise style. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So all this stuff is happening, and I completely forgot. We have a day off.
The fact that
we have a day off.
So many heads get cut right before the paid day off.
This is a celebratory occasion.
And they didn't even get that wasted. It wasn't even that fun of a day. I think it lasted 15 seconds as far as the episode.
Well, you know what? Everybody needs a little rest and relaxation every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And the sponsor of this episode is perfect for that. Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by KOALA. There are a lot of things that come out of Australia.
A lot of good things.
Yeah. Not snakes.
Crocodile Dundee was a great movie.
What was his name? He wasn't called Crocodile Dundee. He was Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
No. Crocodile Dundee is a famous 80s film.
He has the big, I got a knife.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
This is a knife.
Yeah, we had him.
Well, there are a lot of good things that come out of Australia, as we've mentioned. But our new favorite Aussie export is the KOALA sofa bed, and it's finally available in the United States. Man. Okay, this is seriously comfortable. KOALA makes the most comfortable mattresses and sofa beds that actually they actually use their mattress technology inside. Okay, there are beautiful color options inspired by the Aussie outback. Okay, KOALA delivers Instagram-worthy color options. No sad beige or millennial gray hair.
We might put one in the studio, and we'll just do all our Below Deck recaps on that sofa.
I would love to do it. It's perfect for small spaces. No need for a guest room. KOALA sofa bed comes in 3 sizes to fit smaller spaces. There's a 120-night risk-free trial. Okay, nearly 4 months to make sure it's the perfect fit for your home. What other company lets you have something for that long?
And I want to say this company backed us up and allowed us to be one of their podcasts to sell this product because they knew that we had a large Aussie audience.
Yeah.
So you show us, if you live in Australia or New Zealand or Kiwi, you show us that you love us by buying one of these sofas.
Well, and it's also available in the United States. So if you're stateside, do it too. Upgrade your space with the most stylish, customizable, and elevated sofa bed available. To get $100 off your new sofa plus fast shipping, go to u.s.koala.com/badtv. That's u.s.koala.com/badtv to get $100 off your new sofa. KOALA, comfy, easy, sustainable. All right, so
we finally get Vihan up in the hot seat. Yeah. And this was delightful to watch because Captain Jason basically said, so what happened? He said, well, I woke up, there was a girl in my bed. Yeah. Like hot blondes just fall from the sky into your bed.
Yeah.
Okay. You expect me to believe that?
Well, yeah. He's an idiot. And you know what? He's actually crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't fucking fire him.
No,
here.
he didn't.
Sorry,
that's
why
I was a little confused there.
Foolish
You
of
could
me.
hear it in my voice. But Johnny gets called up, and his employment is terminated. And I got to say, this is why we love Johnny. I mean, he takes it like such a good egg. You know, I mean, complete accountability. The juxtaposition of the two exit interviews between Johnny and Weasel are, I mean, it's night and day.
Although I wish Johnny had a little bit more instincts to see that his buddy was actually a scumbag, because he apologizes for losing his cool, and it's a lesson he can learn from. This guy's like fucking Yoda.
I remember the self of my that I am not. That was more Andre the Giant than Johnny, but I mean, he's like fucking Rafiki. You know what I mean? He's so wise.
He's very wise.
Yeah, I'm really sad that he's gone.
I still think he's going to be pretty pissed when he sees that watch back. Because he should have gotten that day off to hang out with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who knows? I don't even think they freaking porked.
They didn't.
It's a real tragedy. They didn't even pork. Now, Jason wishes him well, and he departs, and he'll be back. I think he'll be back next season.
They owe him that.
I think so, too. And wouldn't it be great if Johnny came back and Alicia was on the cast, too? Reunited, and it's probably bad.
Oh, yeah, because she's probably moved on.
Yeah. All right, so Weasel, freaking Pigface, is setting up his big drunk day with Adair, his friend Adair, when Captain J-Man calls him up. Now, he really puts up a fight. And the one concession I'll make for Pigface is he didn't yell at Harry. He didn't yell at Harry. Harry is like, we love Harry. Harry is seditious and subversive in his takedown of Wheon, okay? I'm all for it, but
he hurt his widow feelings.
But Wheon just was very firm. It was intense.
Well,
but
he wasn't being a dick to him.
He was being a dick to him, but he wasn't screaming at him, and there was alcohol involved. There are so many reasons why Wheon needs to leave the boat. Chief among them, what he does to all of the women on this vessel.
That's right.
That's the most important.
But if you're Captain Jason, would you have actually, based on what was reported to you, fire this person? And I don't think what was reported to him rose to that level.
What was reported to him? That he was screaming at Harry?
Well, that was reported to him, but that was in fact not true.
Yeah, but he's seen Wheon be a little fuck the entire season.
I agree, but I'm telling you, I think Captain Jason got a little view of that black and white video footage and said, all right, I got to let this fucking guy go.
All right, so he leaves the boat, and it's very, very Wheon about the whole thing. He goes, I have no clue what happened. I've been blindsided. I did everything I could. And here's where the crazy comes out. He starts crying about Adair when he thinks about her. Mm-hmm. This guy, if Alicia was okay with it, they would have fucked right there. Okay? Mm-hmm. So what are you doing crying about Adair? I mean, it's soft room kind of shit.
But the best part of it is Adair, she hugs him. Yeah. And then to us in her interview says, in the end, it's best that he goes.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. So, yeah, it's better.
And I also enjoyed that he didn't get the beach day.
God. If you're fighting or trying to fuck every single girl on the boat, you might be the problem. Right. So the J-Man lets everybody know, great quote from Laura, we're all going to miss Johnny. But now it's Harry and the girls for a little beach day, a bit of the old Seychelles. J-Man heads with them to go see the tortoises, the ancient creatures, the wisdom holders, the shelled wisdom holders of this land. And we actually do see them banging, mm-hmm. which is pretty cool. Tortoises deserve to get their freak on, you know what I mean? they're so wise. They're like little libraries of Alexandria just walking around. You know, every once in a while, you got to crack something off.
Imagine being born with a backpack. You know what I mean? That you can't take off.
Yeah.
Seems like a pain in the ass.
Complete pain in the ass.
So you got to give them something.
Yeah.
Let them live forever.
Right.
And only have sex doggy style.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so God's like, all right, I'm thinking of something, and all the angels are like, okay, what do you got?
Come on, create something.
I'm thinking about a little kind of reptile kind of thing.
Okay, we have a lot of those, God.
I know, but listen to this. They're super wise. They live forever. They've got a backpack. They can't ever take it off.
A backpack.
Yeah. They got a backpack, and the backpack will have all of this kind of sacred geometry, and will trick all the human beings, and they'll be like, oh, there's something magical, but it's not. We're just spitballing here, you know? And they can only fuck doggy style. And they'll make this noise when they climax. Ugh.
Seems fair to me, God. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Come on, get it into the factory.
I mean, think of all the surly creatures that God pictured. I mean, squid. If I was one of the people in that
could have been a mayfly.
Mayfly, I would have said no to. Squids, I would have said no to. I don't like a squid, okay? All that stuff. Really, the only thing in the ocean that I like is a starfish, and I don't even like those. All right, so she loving, she vibing, she want to give me compliments. We hit the beach. Serena eats potato chips, kind of the way that tortoises eat lettuce. And Laura talks about how lovely her past friends are, and that's when Serena swims up, who is not on that list. Laura hates her. She's so mean to her. But I understand it. Serena is a weird Barbie. She's a little bit oppressive.
Well, now you sound like Laura.
No, I don't. I'm telling you, man, you got to stop talking to these sea rats. It colors you.
She came on and we interviewed her. She said she didn't like being called that. It hurt her feelings.
Weird Barbie?
Yeah.
No, she said she loved it. She was going to brand herself Weird Barbie.
Well, but Laura called her that.
All right. So, this day off,
nothing happens,
was completely destroyed by shitbag and fuck money.
That's right.
Or Johnny and shitbag.
All right. Let me in another dimension. Had no one gotten fired the night before, Johnny and Alicia consummate their relationship. Now they're on the path of potentially having a sea rat baby.
Mm-hmm. Because we've only had one sea rat baby so far. You know, Vanessa Lachey would have nothing with this show. I mean, there's just one sea rat baby, I think, and the father fled.
Yeah, I want to say there might be one more.
No.
Huh. Yes, there is. There is. Gail and Nathan from last season, she's pregnant. We have a second sea rat baby on his way.
But she's not pregnant from Gail or from Nathan.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Sea rat news.
Are they still together?
Yeah, they are. They're in love.
Oh, really?
She's ripe and ready. Yeah, she's going to
What do you mean ripe and
She's ready to pop out a baby at any day.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Glad I thought that.
That was the guy that was, you always talked about how he was balding.
Yeah, prematurely. It was sad. Talk about God.
Yeah.
Give someone hair that they only get to have till they're 22. That's pretty cool if you ask me.
That is cruel. God does a lot of cruel things. Okay. Doesn't he?
My second. So in another dimension, Vihan would have had his hands all over Zarina on that beach at some point, and also flirted with Alicia. That would have pissed Dare off and turned her off, and that would have been the end of it. So either way, if
it would have been a lot of fun.
Yes, that's my point.
It would have been a lot of fun, but we had to go punching shit and sleeping with people's ladies. So we wake for the next day, and it's time for the preference sheet meeting. Harry, welcome to the round table. Can I say, we love Harry. I don't know why he was there. There's no point in having him there.
To make him abreast of is that correct?
Yep.
Of the preferences, so that when the bosun comes in, he would be fully aware. And then in the case that the bosun doesn't make it on, Harry's the bosun.
Harry's got a lot to learn before he can be the bosun. Okay. You got to be in tip-top shape to be the bosun. Okay. Harry's not there yet.
Okay.
So, being a bosun's really hard. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, who was the little guy that did it for so long that had sex with that lady on top of the laundry? Remember that guy?
The little guy.
Yeah, he had the spiky hair.
Oh, a lot of them have spikes.
That's true. That's true. You know, he was like,
Oh, that idiot, Eddie.
Eddie.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He was just at Captain Lee's house.
Yeah, you don't like Eddie.
No, he's annoying.
Yeah. What do you not like about him?
I asked him to be on the show. He said no.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't like him either.
Yeah. If you don't like me,
I don't
you
like
leave
you.
me no choice but to not like you back.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Okay. So, come on. The preference sheet is this. A bunch of PR ladies are coming in from Dubai. I can't stand Dubai. I'm so fucking sick of Dubai.
You know, because I used to own a sightseeing tour company.
Yeah.
For some reason, my phone always feeds me these pieces of information.
Yeah.
Dubai is the #1 overrated vacation destination on the planet Earth.
Yeah, it's just like how many carbon copies of Alpha, Tate Brothers, and Nelk scum can go over there and be duped by the, you know, and the whole Housewives franchise, that pissed me off too. Like, it was this giant fucking tourism ad. It's like, fuck off. It's too hot.
This was a number of years ago, but when my wife and I were globetrotting, I looked at a package there. I kid you not, it was 7 days, 7 nights. The flight, it was at that mega hotel that's built on that man-made island.
Yeah.
I am not exaggerating. It was $1,300 a person.
For a one night?
For a week.
Oh, for a week.
For flights there, the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume their rates have gone up, or maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, yeah.
They were trying to get bodies there.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I'm sure it's a nice place.
But anyway, they're celebrating their 4th anniversary as a company, which is a pretty dumb.
Yep. 4 years is a big deal.
You think so?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
5. Why,
No,
go
it's
big
4.
5.
4.
5. Why 4?
4 is like, you did it.
4. Okay.
So stupid. What are you doing PR for over there?
Well, perhaps you can read into that based on their preferences of what they want to do. They do want to do a rum tasting. Dare I say integration of something they're promoting?
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they also want to do a mob night, and Zarina, mob wife night. Zarina is way off the mark.
Well, to be fair, she's known a lot of mobsters. Maybe not a big fan of American cinema and the Italian mob. You know, Godfather, one of the best.
Mob wives, though, is
sure.
Yeah.
But in the oligarchy and also, you know, Russia, I think she had used Russia as an example.
Yeah.
I assume they have some mob-like characters over there.
Yeah. No, they get their wives to put poison in people's drinks and stuff so that they can frame them and throw them in frozen tundra prisons and stuff like that. I don't have a lot. I don't know if you could tell, but I don't really understand the world very well.
Me neither.
But yeah, no, Mob Wives is it's a meatball red sauce kind of joint. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to be doing. But the new guys head over. Before that, though, those fish finally get a fucking breath of fresh air.
Thank God. Water changes. Clean your filthy fucking fish tank. If you're going to be a caretaker of animals, do a little better job there. And also, you're overstocked with fish. The oxygen levels are going to be very low. The nitrate levels are going to spike before you know it. You have an ammonia epidemic, and then the nitrite hit, and then boom, they're all fucking dead.
They're all dead. I mean, they're fragile little creatures. They don't even remember anything. Here's God again. I'm going to make a thing, and he's going to only remember things for like 5 seconds at a time. It's like, what the fuck, man? And he goes, well, at least it doesn't have a backpack that it can never take off. It can swim around, you know?
Glass half empty.
Why don't you own fish?
You think I want that in my fucking house?
Yeah.
I don't see enough of that shit.
Get in the comments. Let us know if you own fish or birds or anything like that. Do you have any exotic
We
pets?
are going to construct a beautiful koi pond in the front yard. We were actually, it's funny you mentioned that.
What does a koi run you?
For me, it's going to be free. I know everybody.
You know everybody. Mm-hmm. But what does a koi run somebody?
How big?
Pretty big.
$2,000.
$2,000?
Mm-hmm.
What are they? What's the point of that?
Well, most are imported from Japan. If you want,
are they smart?
One. No.
Can you eat them?
No, they're too bony. They're beautiful.
I guess
the fantail versions of them are very angelic.
The fantail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're telling me over at Terra Sushi, they got like $10,000 worth of koi floating around?
I've seen those sushi in there. I mean, those koi in there. The sushi that's dead on the chopping plate is much happier than those poor little fish in those small tanks.
Yeah.
Their backs are bent. They're suffering from a disease called S disease and dropsy. If I could, I'd kill them to save them the pain of existing in that restaurant.
Right. So should we not go there anymore? Should we protest that place?
No, it's fine.
You seen those places where they have I think you told me about this. They have the claw for lobster.
For lobster, yeah. I think PETA shut that down.
I would really hope so. You know, I can't even do that stuff. You know, speaking of Aussies, you know, it's a big thing in Australia. You go to all these restaurants, they got all the fish all over the place in the tanks and stuff. And I can't do it. It makes me too sad. You know, because they're supposed to be out there in the water. You know, think of how borderless the water is. You know,
here's what I'll say:
there's headbutting fucking glass. I mean, they don't even know what glass is.
You want to have a freshwater tank? Go for it. They'll probably live out their lifespan. Don't do the saltwater thing. Don't go to your local aquarium store and buy a $50 fish that just got pulled out of the ocean and put it in a tank. Yeah, it's cruel.
Yeah, don't. The things. What are you going to put a shark in your living room? That's crazy.
You want to talk about unintended consequences.
They're way too big.
You have this beautiful movie called Finding Nemo in 2003.
Yeah.
Also created the proliferation of the seawater, like a sea salt movement, and all these aquarium stores pop up to fill the demand. They basically plunge the waters of like Hawaii and the Philippines, kill all the environment there trying to sell fish to America.
Well, that's why Disney made that film.
Is that right?
Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Ha ha! They don't do anything for good. I fucking hate that company.
Star Wars sucks.
Star Wars sucks. I mean, listen, Inside Out, it's a cute movie, but what are you doing teaching kids about depression? They don't need to know that yet.
Little inside baseball. They found out when they tested the only character that kids and adults liked was that angry little one that was fucking around with everybody.
Yeah, he's my favorite too. No, I'm kidding. Inside Out's lovely, and Pixar has made some of the most beautiful stories of all time, but they're meant to harm. So anyways, let's get to some sea rat history.
Okay.
So
we have two coming here.
It's too many. I don't like this change. I don't like change.
Well, I can handle it for us.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so we have Nate the bosun. He meets the captain. If you look at his CV, former kid entertainer. Then we get some sea rat history. Raised by a woman, taught by a woman.
What kind of kid entertainer? What are you talking about?
It didn't specify. I think we'll learn later on.
Are you talking about like a carny or something?
Maybe dressed up like a clown.
Okay.
Raised by a woman, taught by a woman, easygoing spirit.
Oh, yeah. I was hopeful that this man was raised by women because maybe he's not going to be such a fucking pig.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Dylan, because these are the ingredients for a man that will hopefully not be a womanizing pig. However, there is a wrinkle in that.
He's a sea rat.
Well, more importantly, where's dad? There's no mention of dad. It's a common question asked, and there's a lot of pain associated with an MIA pops.
Right.
Yoda once said, missing dads lead to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to douchebags trying to bang everything that moves.
Yeah.
And I think he said that in The Last Jedi. Nate is going to be a problem.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nate's got extra energy.
Yes.
He's like, he's extra, right? He's like, listen, who am I to be judgmental of other people's character traits? But when I'm meeting new people, I like to kind of slow play myself a little bit. Let's have a little probationary period where we don't we don't really get too high. We don't
Too
get
show.
too low. Yeah.
I got that.
You know what I mean?
You got to pace yourself.
Yeah, pace yourself. All right, so Nicholas is up next. He's really throwing the blue steel around quite a bit before he heads to the boat. This is when we get another sea rat history, and
Can you help us out here, Del, if you need it.
I know exactly what sound effect you're... Can I guess which sound effect
Don't
you're
guess it.
play?
Don't do it for the audience. Do it after. Do it after.
Okay.
Okay. So Nick arrives, and we learn that he cried while watching Indiana Jones live at Universal Studios Orlando. I'm not going to judge because that is an emotional experience. And then we begin with his sea rat history. He is a self-described nerd.
Yeah.
Now, Dill, you pointed this out, and I always found it funny because I always thought when someone said they were a nerd, if they'd seen, I don't know, every Star Wars movie, that made them a nerd.
No.
And you'd pointed out that if you've seen every episode of Deep Space Nine, that does not make you a nerd. Mm-hmm. And you pointed out, and I always save this, this is an example of a nerd.
Dragon steel theory. My only question is, how would you get so much dragon steel into a moon? Because it seems like there's a fairly significant amount.
Adenalcium core crashing. You know,
Adenalcium did it.
Yep. And like, you know, there's always like the is dragon steel Adenalcium's god metal, if such a thing makes sense for Adenalcium.
Those are nerds.
Now, it brings me so much joy to hear the fine folks at the Shardcast, because they're right to kind of plumb those topics. What is Adenalcium's god metal? What are Adenalcium's motivations? I mean, before he split into the shards, we really are not sure what that guy's up to. What caused the breaking? Why do we have honor? Why do we have ruin? Why do we have cultivation? They used to all be Adenalcium.
I think you're proving my point here, though, Dill. Nick, those are nerds. You're a fan of science fiction. Don't get it twisted.
I'll tell you what, though. This is what, and also my guess was incorrect. I thought you were going to play the scene from
Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
No. I've gotten much better at my production value.
How long did it take you to find that clip?
Not that long.
Did you listen to a fair amount of the
I
Shardcast?
did.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable because it's fun to hear nerds talk.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Because what's amazing about those people is that they literally cannot exist outside of that Zoom meeting with the others. Anywhere else on planet Earth, they are scared, sweating, and scared. I'll give Nick this. If you're a big fan of Star Trek,
Yeah.
you're a nerd.
Okay.
Star Trek is nerdy as fuck.
Okay. But do you just watch the films or do you meet with people and talk about the show?
Well, you know, there's levels to it.
Fair enough.
So anyways.
Well, Nick, I hope you
Did you watch Black Mirror yet?
We were looking. They dropped 6 episodes. Is there one that I should check out?
I've seen 2. Fucking dog shit.
They are. Ugh. Which one did I watch? I read all
Watched the one with Rashida Jones, and then I watched the one at the chocolate company.
The chocolate company.
Yeah.
One caught my eye. I forget.
Well, we'll talk about it
Okay.
another time. We've been going long anyway.
okay.
Sorry. All right. So Alicia's very distracted. She's texting with the Greek. And Laura asks her, 24-year-old Stu, if she's heard of the Brady Bunch. Okay. That's a stupid question because no, she has not. Right. And this is when I believe she refers to Serena as Jan.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think so, yes. Uh-huh.
It's just complete mean girl stuff from her. And this is where Serena's going wrong. She goes, I wanted to be sisters at the end of this. Why? She doesn't like you. She's mean to you. What is this Stockholm syndrome?
Well, I think she's playing into her own insecurities and being open about it. She wants to be loved.
Climb out of the hole and kill your captor. Okay? That's what you have to do. So the charter guests arrive, Nikita, and these are hot ladies. Mm-hmm. Hot ladies. And did you see how sweaty Nate was?
Nick.
No, Nate. Nick was all hot and bothered.
Oh, really? I saw him walk in. I thought that was the back of poor Nick.
That was the back of Nate. And I got to say, don't greet people like that.
Yeah, he was
That's
pretty wet.
disgusting.
Yeah.
If somebody comes over to your house, you've been woodworking or weed whacking or getting the party together, you change. You don't want great people just soaked in sweat.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I don't think I'd sweat that much if I ran a marathon. He might be on something, allegedly.
Right. Meanwhile, we get the tour. We talk about the fish. Serena's like, I want to kind of crack salt and scales all over the place. And Laura's like, I don't think that's a great idea. Marina and Jason have a little chat about socks. And Marina, this is, you got to be careful here. Don't call him the R word and slap his ass. You're going to get fired. Okay?
That's right. But he's looking out for her in this moment. He may realize that some of those little aggressive things that she's doing is because she's been trapped in the laundry dungeon for 8 weeks.
Yes.
So he suggests to Laura that Marina be allowed out of the laundry dungeon because she deserves some time to shine. And in that moment, the sun is basically cleaning showers.
Yeah, this is what happened to Gollum, right? You spend too long underground and out of sunlight, you start to get a little squirrely. Laura will not.
Dead on arrival, this request.
Will not concede to this request because it's too difficult to be on service, right? What would Marina do up there? She couldn't serve like poorly made Bloody Marys to drunk people. It's impossible. She's not ready for that kind of thing, So I get where Laura's coming from. Things are running smoothly. I don't want to fuck anything up.
She's going to get in trouble for that, though, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. So we get ready for the mob wife party. I actually got to give the ladies credit for this. This is, we've seen the white party, the AIDS party.
This is different.
Yeah, this is different. So we get into a little bit of a fight about plates.
Mm-hmm. I see both sides here, by the way.
I see one side, Laura's side.
Laura's side.
It's an Italian dinner. What are you doing serving fucking food on coral plate? No, get it out of here.
The only reason I'm going to take at least here's Serena's side is she is in fact the chef and she gets to choose to, she's created this whole meal.
Yes, there's a hierarchy.
It also
here.
Seems a little late we're right before service here when we're figuring this out.
Well, what happened to the chef being the head of everything?
They are the head of their own department, but I do believe that Laura technically has one step over her.
We've seen men who are chefs aboard this vessel boss literally everyone around. Doesn't matter who you are, the bosun and the chief stew. I want Serena to get a little bit more gusto. So anyways, we get to dinner. It's saffron arancini balls, 2 types of pasta. Looked like we had a little vodka thing going on, a little truffle parm. We've got surf and turf with the exoskeleton of the sea bug adorned on top of the plate. That's a lovely, disgusting garnish. And then we get to Bruce.
Bruce the snapper.
Yeah, he's a snapper. And tension is really building between Serena and Laura. You're fighting over fish, okay? This is not the Manhattan Project. Let's all get along.
They did it in front of Captain Jason, too.
Yeah. Come on, guys. All in all, though, great dinner. I'd say 77 pots.
That's good to hear.
Yep. So we end with a little beer pong. Nick is tasked with
catching ping pong balls.
One show, and listen, I don't know Nick. Nick could be great. This show can't have nerds on it. It really can't. There is no tolerance for nerds on this show. They don't get fucked up. If they do get fucked up, it's sad. They don't have the kind of fly by the night sex addiction that we need that's customary with sea rats. The show, we've had plenty of nerds on this show. They don't work.
All right.
Barnaby, do you remember Barnaby?
Well, Barnaby was also an alcoholic.
Was he?
I think so. He was the one that he cooked for the Obamas or something like that.
I'm not sure. Well, let's hope Nick's an alcoholic.
He taught him how to swim. No, not swim. He taught him how to surf. Let's cut that out.
What do you mean?
Barnaby bragged about teaching the Obamas how to surf.
And you want to cut the swim thing out because of the chef that died?
Well, I don't want people showing up at my house. Actually, I don't want a joke about teaching black people to swim. Isn't there a thing about them, black people? No? Okay. I don't want to get in trouble.
You're not gonna get in trouble. Okay. We end the episode with Nicholas catching ping pong balls. and he doesn't do it well. And these women are just trying to get some of the awkwardness out of him, right? Because they don't want to be around it anymore, right? It's ruining their vacation. So they decide, maybe if you have a little bit of liquor, you'll stop being so weird. And the slow-mo shot is made. He is given the tequila shot, and Big Red sees it. And Big Red is not sure what to do. You know, these sea rats, they'll really rat. They'll really rat, man. I think Big Red, if he didn't take accountability, she would have shot that right up the ladder, said, this guy's a drunk.
Yeah. Oh, God, Nick, what I wish you would have done, and it would have been a cool move, especially as a nerd, is if you took the shot and then you turned around and you slowly spit it out.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
But he didn't. He sucked it down. He sucked it down like the booze bag he is, right? Get in the comments. Let us know what you thought about the episode. We'll be back next week. We will see the $12 tier people over at Patreon next Wednesday. And Summer House at patreon.com/another podcast network. Get ready for the Valley. That drops when? Is the episode air tomorrow?
It airs tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
Well, on Wednesday.
We'll drop it on Wednesday. And yeah, 5 stars, kind words. Keep the reviews coming. We're so grateful for them. We're so grateful that you guys listen. Love you lots. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.